We'll try this again. Hello to the group. Remove Northam. I'll present questions by Heidi Campbell. And just the type of person I am, I always say, whatever questions you got out there, I'm going to answer. Promises made and promises kept is my motto. Now, one of the things, of course, people like to ask me, how will I bring people together? I'm that type of coach that makes sure those who fall and get right back on up. And I also make sure people know there's no excuses. We all got to be held accountable, and we all got to understand how being held accountable and being responsible for our actions will, of course, address our character moving forward, not the color of our skin. See, people have to get past the race issue and say that we are part of the American people. We are part of the human race. We are all brothers and sisters. We are all attached with a common bond that says that we are to be treated with respect and dignity. Now, for those who are trying to hold people's past and their ancestors to whatever has happened now in 2020, this is why I have to say to you, if you want people to own up to their ancestors' past, well, maybe we should own up to who we are in the present. Police solve far fewer cases than they solve because of the lack of resources and cooperation. Now look around at your family, regardless of your background. Would you excuse their murder because of their ancestors' past? Would their life matter because you can't sleep without justice? How about it was someone you trust with a similar background that committed the murder? It would matter more for the victim for you to know the truth than to have someone that had nothing to do with it be convicted. To be wrongfully convicted and delay the closure because you ignored the truth to persecute those not involved in the crime. Now, what does that mean, people? That means we all have to be held accountable. We all have to understand that we all bleed the same way. We must all understand we can agree to disagree. But we must understand what is okay at my house may not be okay at your house. We have to bring back that old school way of handling things. All these complications is coming up because of politicians being involved. We can bring people together from all walks of life and let them know that you have a voice too. And we do hear you. But a criminal is a criminal. If you go out there and try to destroy America to get your point because you having a temper tantrum. And those who are trying to build America, those who are trying to unite America, they will have everything that America has to offer and the opportunity to do it the right way. That's exactly how I bring America together, saying that we are on the same ground zero, just like 9/11. And we will rebuild. We will come back. We will stomp out the hate. And we will make sure that we show love all across this great country and this great Commonwealth of Virginia. That is exactly how we bring people back, by letting them know you are equal too. But we all must also face the consequences when we screw that up. There shouldn't be no difference in how that's happened. But it must show that we are consistent in making sure that we bring the best out of America and stop those who are trying to bring in the worst in us. And that right now is fear. Racism right now is fear. That's what it boils down to, because very few understand that racism is about just the color of the skin. Racism and supremacy is about keeping people down, keeping Americans down. Because I'm not running white Virginia. I'm not running a black Virginia. I'm running for governor of Virginia and everything that comes with it and the people that's in it. And that doesn't say anything to do with anybody's race. Now, the next question. You said, how will I protect everybody's constitutional rights? Well, I have said it before, and I'm going to say it again. My message has always been consistent. I said, if we have unjust laws, we are going to break them. I'm going to tell citizens all across Virginia, your governor has your back. I'm not going to talk about it. I'm not going to make a gimmick. When I said for 2A, I said the governor's gun control laws you no longer have to respect, because I said if you break it because it's unconstitutional, I will have a pardon for you. And that's because you believed in fighting for our country and for our rights more than the governor Northam has done. He is despicable and disrespectful to all of those who work hard all across Virginia, who has the traditions to teach their kids how to hunt, teach their kids good responsibility, showing their kids how to defend themselves properly, and showing them exactly the ability to have their families protected and know that Virginia would back them, not back the criminal. And we had done too much of that. I'm a stand your ground, castle doctrine type of person. I plan on making sure those laws is passed. I want a state recognized gun just so I could piss the Democrats off and show them exactly what to do with their gun control laws. See, the problem is we let the Democrats get way too far in their mess. And the reason is because the Republican Party got complacent. They got into this mode of being in a pattern that thinks we already won. For the last decade, you would think Republicans would put aside their personal interests at the top levels and say that we need to fight for Virginia in every district all across this Commonwealth to win. While we was asleep at the wheel, Democrats was going to another district, getting more voters, lying to them, doing whatever. And it wasn't nobody else to go to those districts and show them that the Democrats is just like the devil. They are a liar. See, that was the problem. See, Merle Rutledge is here to fix it. I plan on going to each of them districts. I plan on telling the people the truth. I'm going to tell them America, as you used to see it before this shutdown, is on the line. Now, you could go with the party that got you masked up, or you could go with the party that's going to break down all of those chains, that's going to burn those masks straight on down. It's going to instill courage, not fear. It's going to make sure your families have the same opportunities our families had from generation to generation. I'm willing, just like so many others out there, to put their life and their neck on the line so our generations can grow tall and bloom and blossom into exactly what they are supposed to be, not be controlled by the government telling them who they can be. See, I believe in a better Virginia because I never had gave up. I have put Virginia before I have put myself, because I know Virginia means a lot more to me. So does my country. I believe Virginia sets the tone all across America, and that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to show the tone of how government should stay out your business, mind theirs, and allow you to do what you've been doing. And that's raising your family the way that you need to raise your family. And allowing you to put in the discipline. So instead of us burying our kids, we are watching them walk across the stage and graduate, or go into the military and serve their country proudly, or do whatever they choose to be, not be limited by whatever the government tells them to be. And I say, if somebody stomps on our constitutional rights, we will fight them in court. If it gets too oppressive, we may have to fight them for this country. But we're going to send a message that civil disobedience is not dead, it is alive and well, and we will not live on our knees. We are going to stand on our feet here in Virginia. Now, the next question about the Confederate flag. How I feel about it. What to do? There is not going to be one part of history removed. The Confederate flag is what it took the Civil War for a more perfect union. It didn't say it was going to be the war for America to become perfect. People for all sides gave their lives for this country, regardless of right or wrong. They was born into the war just like we feel that we was born into this world full of disadvantages until we saw each and every single day as an opportunity to become better and understand what it means to put our neck on the line for what we believe in. The message that should have came from the Civil War should always be protected. Fight for what you believe in. That's exactly what America needs to do. We are surrendering our country and we ain't even fighting for it. And that's because the politicians have made the call to negotiate with terrorists. I'll be damned if somebody comes to my house saying, hey, I'm going to burn down your house if you don't give me what you want. That sounds like somebody is doing a home invasion. It sounds like somebody is putting me and my family's life on the line. That sounds like I need to make sure I stop the threat. And I said exactly, the way I stop the threat ain't going to be nice. I said exactly, I'm going to tell that same person, you can go home or you could go home to the funeral home in a body bag. Which choice do you want to have? See, we've been too nice to criminals and those who has terrorized our communities from all over. The Confederate flag, the American flag, the Union, all of them. This was about a fight for exactly what they saw America as their vision. The thing is, we can't erase that. We can't erase those war stories that came out of that war. We can't erase the fight that Americans and your ancestors and the price they paid for exactly what that war stood for. The First Amendment doesn't just protect what we want it to protect. It says whether we find that free speech or whatever is offensive and repulsive, regardless of what it is, it's protected. It's an American right to agree to disagree. Now we are being forced to accept anything. If we say the wrong things, then people are overly sensitive. I'm tired of it. I'd rather somebody speak their mind about exactly what's really going on here in America than to go ahead and be silent. Because silence is what is destroying America. Like I said, I'm not going to be silent when they take down monuments. I'm not going to be silent when they are destroying our country. I'm not going to be silent when they are taking away our constitutional rights and freedoms by amendment, and they are doing it based off of we are going to terrorize until we get exactly what we want. That is not going to be the negotiating tool in Virginia. I will stomp out the threat. The monuments will go back up. The criminals who had their charges put to the side would be reinstated. All the conditions that would need to be done for justice will include cleaning up the graffiti, repairing those businesses, putting in the work. Because you tried to destroy America, well, whether you white, black, whether you Antifa, BLM, it doesn't matter what group you are. If you part of destroying America, maybe y'all need to sit side by side each other, cleaning up your graffiti, cleaning up your mess. Because, see, you broke a plate in Virginia's house. And it's time for you to clean up that mess. Now, if you don't want to do it, now you can spend the next 90 days in jail thinking about it and still have to pay the price. Because all of y'all will have it divided on all the costs and damages, and you will pay it back. Because I want you to be a testimony. I want you to be a testimony in your schools. I want you to be a testimony on your block. I want you to be a testimony in your house. I want you to be a testimony in your church. And I want you to be that testimony for Virginia. To say exactly what happens when I show my ass. Now, like I said, all history is going to be protected. All monuments that have been toppled down and destroyed, they are going to help rebuild each and every one of them and learn the history behind it. So while they cleaning, they gonna write about the monuments that they're helping to build back up, so they'll know what it means. Means to earn your statue here in America, to earn your name throughout history. What it means. It doesn't mean it's gonna be given to you and handed to you because you decide that you want to have a temper tantrum on the streets of Virginia. I'll be damned. The police will be police. And criminals will be treated like criminals. Peaceful protests will be protected until it becomes not peaceful. And I will make sure officers know you arrest immediately. You do not lay down. You make sure you put those who are making a mockery out of another situation in jail. It's going to be time for the lessons to be told. So what I'm going to do to make sure there's no more 24-hour releases, it's going to be mandatory that there's no bond on rioting. So they can understand how it feels to be just like what they claim they was against. We got to teach that lesson. Now, as far as the Confederate flag, every part of it, just like any other flag across America through history, will be preserved because it's in our national interest. It's a part of American history. It's a part of the stories that made us who we are today. If we don't have a reminder that they can fight from all parts of history to be who they want to be, then we will have quitters, not those who look at when things is down, knowing to be tough enough to get back up. And that's exactly what America did. It got back up and became the greatest nation on earth, even after the Civil War. See, people are trying to mess up our unity. That's what they're trying to do. America has been more united before Minnesota. People of all walks of life, had people of different backgrounds from all over the world working together, getting to know each other, respecting each other, and being able to live with the fact of getting to know each other. See, the devil don't want that. See, the devil saw all of that and said, I'm going to screw that all up. What that Minnesota cop did is not going to be how Virginia and America addresses murderers. We should have never gave him that honor or privilege. What we gave that murderer, that terrorist, said to America that this is how to destroy us and separate us. I believe in a more perfect union, but I don't believe it's going to be perfect getting there. And exactly, I wouldn't expect it no other way, because I need for our futures and our generations to see that America fights back. And that's the motto of my campaign. Like I said, now, as far as also protecting our constitutional rights and freedoms, I told you exactly. For those patriots and many more, I have a pardon waiting for you. What you're doing is standing up for heroic and courage for all of our children and generations to know exactly what it means to work for something and earn it. And exactly that's what I want to teach to all Virginians. So as far as I'm concerned, history ain't gonna be touched. It's gonna be put up by the very criminals who try to tear it down because those charges would come back. It was a failure of leadership and a crisis, a kneeing down on a flag at the price of all our generations by them Democrats and them cowards of politicians from the establishment. They were still trying to raise money while America burns. Is that exactly what you want out of the next leader of this state? Yeah, you know who they are. Because right now, they were the ones who are doing the gimmicks all across America and giving up a buffet of concessions on our constitutional rights. Now, as far as would Merle Rutledge, if it was a defund the police, and let me get this first off, that defund police is a piece of crap that came from other pieces of crap. I'm not going to defund the police. I'm going to increase the funding for police because they've been tied up in politics for far too long. Low pay based off the fact if it ain't meant to be politically convenient or they don't do things our way, we gonna go ahead and take away, even though the police was standing up for our constitutional rights. And I'll be damned if they get slaughtered by politicians that don't care nothing about their welfare or how they feed their family, even though they are protecting Virginia every single day. They will be honored. Like I said, I will increase the funding. Soon as to fund the police, I get that piece of paper because that's all they gonna come with and tear it right on up and throw it in the garbage can and say, "How about you call social services to respond when somebody's kicking your door and shooting up your family?" Our police were disrespected all throughout this whole thing here in Virginia. I understand why they pissed off. They not getting the right pay. Then they have to allow themselves to be yelled at, spit on, assaulted, put their lives on the line every day for somebody else's mess in another state. We all know there's good and bad police officers. We all know that. I'm the main one who will tell you I call it the way it is. When a cop is wrong, I tell him I believe you're wrong. When a citizen wrong, I call it the way I see it. You're wrong. The fact of the matter is, I do not go out and just go with whatever the public finds popular, whatever a Marxist group finds as the next way to send out a message. The next communist. Don't matter what group you are. Police will always be police in Virginia. I will increase their funding so they have an increased pay. Even the sheriffs who ended up fighting for our 2A rights and couldn't get a pay raise because politicians thought it was a good way to send a message. I'm going to send them a message. And my gun rights laws send that message. They increase a pay going to our sheriffs for standing up for our constitutional rights and our police officers. More funding will go towards where it needs to go, towards mental illness, so we can address the problem sooner than later for those of all ages that need counseling and need treatment for their condition, which America ignores far too often. But we, on the other hand, the same. Virginia's going to be different. We're going to make sure you get the proper treatment. We're going to make sure those who have been yelling in agony and pain and don't know how to address it because of mental illness, and it becomes the frustration that leaks into a jail, and police have to address it and don't understand enough of it in order to adequately resolve those issues without sending them there. The police don't even have the option in most occasions to get those who need treatment, who they know needs treatment, to a mental health clinic instead of behind a jail cell before something major actually happens. So yes, I'm increasing funding, meaning the police is going to get paid more. There shouldn't be an officer working in Virginia making less than $42,000. And many of them are making underneath $38,000, and they taking care of a whole family. We're going to do right by our police that put their life on the line. And I would tell those who have a problem with it, when's the last time you put your life on the line? Not only for what the police do, but when's the last time you put your life on the line to protect this country? That's how we get past that. And while they stutter, because the most of the time frame is the people talking trash, they ain't doing nothing. They ain't nothing about what they have to say compared to those who actually do and wake up for the line of duty for the call of muster, like our police, our military, and our first responders. And each and every one of them, I have a plan to make sure their pay is increased. I have a way to make sure mental illness treatment is definitely funded. And I know how to get the tax revenue instead of putting it on the taxpayers' back, and still be able to reduce taxes for those who need relief, especially after a crushing economy. Now, with Merle Rutledge, it became Northam's plan when I first get to Richmond to say, hey, I'm not going to have armed security or whatever it may be. Let me just get this straight. Our governor is an idiot. Let's get that straight. He's a straight idiot. And most of them Democrats up there in Richmond are straight idiots, or they follow the leader. Number one, I don't have armed security now. Never needed it. I've been in this race for the last couple of years without armed security. Most places I go to by myself. I show up because I don't fear nobody, because God got me. But at the same time frame, it doesn't matter whether I have armed security or not. The police is not going to be defunded. I still going to go wherever I want, whenever I want, and wherever I want, security or not. Because I've been doing it all my life. That's what politicians do. That's why politicians, they are so closed off from the public, like you said, not accessible. People don't know who they are anymore. They become a last name before they become a person that you know. See what I'm saying? How accessible will Merle Rutledge be? I said, you're going to be so accessible. I'm going to be so accessible. You're going to be able to see my emails. You're going to be able to get transcripts of my phone calls. I'm not going to use executive privilege to hide from the American people. I'm going to make sure all of those who have sent letters to the governor has an office where I shut down the Department of Social Services and merge these offices. Where I shut down other wasteful spending like the Virginia Bureau of Insurance and the Board of Education. Because I already got a plan for all of them to merge into one thing, just to respond back to the citizens and also cut out the liberal waste in those departments. I already gonna have people going across to each and every department across Virginia that has stayed on and finding the pieces of liberal trash and throwing them out of there. Okay, you on the other hand believe in liberal, throw them out there. You on the other hand, get rid of them. The reason is because you allowed our country to be taken over, and you had a chance to stand up for what is right and put our country, put our Commonwealth of Virginia before any other political party. That's why I say I'm not part of the establishment. I'm too real, and I speak my mind the way I do. And those in the establishment allowing me to do what I do best because they want to see Merle Rutledge get the job done and see how well he gets it done. And they also know they can't tell me what to do. They can tell other politicians what to do, how to act, how to talk. I'm going to do exactly what I say I'm going to do. When I say I'm going to get rid of the red tape for businesses, exactly what I'm going to do. I already told the businesses, find the red tape that's holding you back from hiring, holding you back from growing, and let me know so I can go ahead and get rid of that too. Just X that out. Then I say I'm going to cut business tax rates by 15%. Or more, because COVID is not going to take over America or Virginia's livelihoods, and what families all across Virginia have worked hard as far as grow a business so their families can have something passed down, as far as wealth, as far as, of course, what it takes to make it happen in America. That's more valuable than anything else, and that's priceless to know exactly you have everything that it takes, but it takes still hard work, and nothing wrong with that because it's going to teach even the other generations. You still work hard for what you want to get, and Virginia will protect you working hard legally for everything that you earned. That's a fact. That's what's going to happen. That's what I'm saying. Politicians don't talk like me because they don't have it in them. They so busy deflecting from the questions, not answering direct. Because guess what? Their campaign told them don't give out any promises, don't give out any guarantees, don't give them out anything of substance. Your campaign is running you, but you asking to run for governor of Virginia. That's for all Democrats and Republicans. My campaign don't run me. I told everybody I'm going to do it my way, and you better follow the leader into doing this because our country is more important. I tell them you go outside every single day. Do you want to keep living like that? That's exactly what current politicians got you in, and you worrying about experience. They got experience on locking you up. Right now, politicians are the slave owners of today for the American people. I said, not today. I'm going to live out Abraham Lincoln's dream and the rest of those civil rights leaders from all over this country and those who believe that America never bows down to any oppressor, terrorist, or dictator or whatever thinks they are better than God. That won't happen in America or Virginia while I lead. We will lead the charge. Like I said, I would deputize citizens in times of unrest and store owners to make sure rioters now know nobody is playing the same game with you. Because we're going to protect families, businesses, and our country for law-abiding citizens. As far as us doing stuff for illegals, we ain't going to handle illegals' problems on the state budget. That ain't going to happen. We handling other countries' problems on a state budget. That's why my governor is an idiot. But I'm not going to have Northam continue his little freeloading fest, his pork barrel projects. Give money all over here. Give it to my campaign. Give it to the next person. They didn't earn it. America is the ones who broke their back for those tax dollars that you're able to spend. And America needs relief now. And like I said, too bad this election ain't this year because America can look forward, Virginia can look forward to new leadership and seeing somebody different that's not a politician get it done. So we have more patriots in Richmond and more patriots in D.C. Maybe they need to see me being more tougher. Maybe they need to see what really comes out of Americans' mouths. And that's exactly what I have coming out mine. The frustration of America, but with the solutions that America wants. So that's how I handle the defund police, how I would handle my private security, how I would stand up for my constitutional rights, how I would stand up for everybody's rights, how I look at race as no longer as part of as only the human race. I'm not running up black or white Virginia. I'm running for Commonwealth of Virginia, where I treat everybody equally. They have a voice. But not only that, I won't say anything that I won't commit to action, not commit to basically saying, how can I avoid really addressing the problem? Too many is giving out this little gimmick of talking about we need to do more listening, less talking. No, we need to do more listening, giving out concrete answers, and applying action. Like I said, I'm the only one who came out with a criminal justice reform bill that works for everybody. So whether you plan on being in the justice system or not, it happens. We don't know how life is going to be for even the most wealthy, but you want to know that the justice system is fair and works more towards justice, not personal interests. Like I said, our judges will no longer be appointed based off of their campaign donations, in my opinion, but the Virginia people will elect their judges in their localities that applies justice that they believe is worthy of a verdict that the public can go ahead and take hold of, whether it's counter to their own interests. but fair in the way it was applied. Now's a new day for Virginia. You have a choice to choose something different. You have a choice to go and keep voting and funding what you're living with right now. Or you have a choice for somebody who in a time of duty, a time of pandemic, and a time of crisis, you can see how I respond and handle things because I've been making sure America and Virginia is aware exactly what I would do during these times. I would instill fear. Would instill fear. I will celebrate courage, strength, power, our ability to dominate any enemy, biological agent, any other country, any other place, and let them know that God bless America. And that's exactly the way we win back Virginia. That's the way we can talk to all walks of lives and all walks of groups and political affiliations about the fact we have a plan to fix Virginia. Where does the other ones fall into line? We have a plan to protect Virginia. Where do the others fall well plan to do so? We have a plan to make sure Virginia's traditions is kept and we are moving forward with the future with respect, with the ability and knowing that we can agree to disagree and still show respect for each other's background and history. Find out where these other politicians stand. I'm here to care about all life. I'm here to let people know your constitutional rights will be protected under Merle Rutledge the way the founding fathers intended. And also the living document that continues to give guidance exactly in times like this. That's why we have well-formed militias all across the state. And I will no longer have to have them have to register with the sheriff. They have a natural right, and I'm going to say a constitutional right, to form in Virginia here without having to go through the extra paperwork. Like I said, a man's or woman's gun is their business. That's exactly how I see it. No more concealed carry permit. If you want to carry your gun in the back pocket, front pocket, however you want to carry your gun in the glove box or whatever, that's your right. That's your right to make sure that your safety and your family's safety comes first. You don't need Virginia in your business restricting you from protecting fellow Virginians and for protecting your common man or woman or those who are vulnerable, including those who you love. You have a right to protect Virginia. And we will have more citizens deputized so they can be the first one to respond. We're going to make sure our churches are allowed to respond and be well equipped for any danger that comes their way. There will be a separation of church and state. So I'm going to tell the church, however, you need to defend yourself. No more red tape, that's gone, because we are getting the government back out of the church. We're getting the government back out of people's lives. We're getting the government moving in a direction where we are smaller, more efficient, and we are also having Virginia in its best interest with focusing on the priorities of Virginians, not focusing on controlling everything Virginians do. So this is Merle Rutledge answering your questions, Heidi Campbell from Remove Northam Group, by answering the questions for all Virginians and letting them know that there will no longer be business as usual. My name is Merle Rutledge, the 2021 candidate for governor of Virginia, running for the Republican nomination, and letting you know, and letting America know, letting Virginia know, God bless America.